So many of you have asked me for this. So here's the tutorial. Hello everyone and welcome to this new video from Free Dreams 106 channel. Today folks, we are back to talking about UForge after quite a while. And we are kicking things off in a big way, because in today's video I'll show you how to make 3D UForge prints. Those amazing UForge prints with a 3D model that looks like it's popping right out of the frame. In the video where I introduced them, so many of you asked me how to make them. So today I'm bringing you a dedicated guide where we'll actually make a 3D UForge together. So stick around until the end to see the finished print. And for those of you wondering, no, you don't need a multicolor printer. You can use any machine to create these fantastic projects. You can create this type of print using either a UForge background you generate yourself or one downloaded from a site like Printables or MakerWord. In today's video specifically, I'll walk you through the entire process. We'll create the UForge background together, generate the 3D model to pair with it, and see how to slice this particular STL file. Have I piqued your curiosity? Then leave a like and let's get started. Here we are at the computer to see how to create a UForge 3D model. We'll start with the UForge background and then move on to generating the 3D model. A quick note, if you are new to UForge, I recommend checking out the playlist of tutorials I've created for this software before watching this video, so you can better understand how it works. I've also included the chapter links below, so you can jump to the part that interests you the most if you don't want to watch the entire tutorial. Here we go. I've opened UForge, which as you can see is the latest version available at the time of recording, so the 0931. For today's project, I've decided to create a small mechanical engineering themed artwork. I've selected the illustrations from the Pelton turbine patent and I'll have the Pelton turbine model pop out from one of the panels. Of course, you can use any background and any 3D model you want. The process is always the same. Siani the Sugar, for example, has created many wonderful ones themed around Star Wars and horror movies. Alright, let's get right away with the background. As you can see, the image I've chosen is very simple to create, but works perfectly for our demonstration. I found an image with a decent resolution in a blueprint version. Since the photo is very simple to reproduce, I'll use the standard mode, but you can use whatever mode you like. It won't make a difference. So I add the black, blue and white I intend to use, and adjust the levels until I get a result I like. A quick tip for UForge 3D models. With a classic UForge 2D model, the thickness of the base doesn't matter much. You can make it very thin if the layers are sufficient for the gradients. But with a 3D UForge, the background serves as the base for the floating 3D model, so we need a bit more material. For this reason, I recommend increasing the base thickness. How much to increase it will depend largely on the model you choose to use. For example, if it protrudes significantly, you need at least a 1.6 mm base. You can start with a 1 mm though, and when you are ready to add the 3D model, decide where to increase the value. Alright, once that's done, we can set the dimensions for our background directly in UForge, and that's it, we can export our first STL. Now let's move on to the 3D model that will come out of the frame. As with the background, you are free to download a ready-made mesh from a repository of your choice, model something yourself, or generate the geometry with specialized software, as I'll be doing for this project. I've decided to use Item3D, which we have already seen in numerous videos on the channel. I've included the dedicated playlist above. For those unfamiliar with it, how does this software work? You just need to upload an image and the site will quickly generate a 3D model that can be downloaded in various formats, including STL. I load an image of a Peltor turbine and select the settings I want. I enable only the geometry and not the texture, and select quality mode to get a smoother model with version 2.1 of the program. Finally, here's a quick tip I would like to share with you, in case you also want to use Item3D to generate a model for a 3D UForge. Enable Advanced mode and make sure Repair is checked, so the site will ensure the mesh has no holes to fix and is ready for printing. Here is my turbine model, and all that's left to do is to download it in STL format. Of course, if you're interested, I've included the link to Item3D below. Remember that by using my link, you'll get a whopping 500 bonus credits. Since we have Item3D open, I want to show you a cool new feature that could come in handy both for the 3D models you plan to generate with this site and for editing the images you want to process with UForge. If we import an image, you'll see that a new button labeled Edit Image will now appear. Clicking on it will open a panel that is essentially a NanoBanana integration within Item3D. Below we can specify how we want to edit the image. For example, I'll upload this dragon image and ask it to add a crown. We can also remove the watermark, increase the file resolution and convert it to black and white to improve processing when the site generates the 3D model. As you can see, we have 4 different AI models available, including NanoBanana 2. Once we have set all the parameters we need, click Generate, and you see that in just a few moments we'll have our modified image. We can then send it directly to Item3D or download it to process it with UForge. Returning to the main screen, note that there is now also the option to generate multi-views from the reference image. That is the different viewpoints that we can upload in the multi-view to 3D section of the site. So I would say it's a fantastic addition that allows us to improve the quality of our 3D models. We have reached the final step. In this slicer, we'll actually build our 3D UForge model. For this example, I'll show you the process in Orca Slicer, but the procedure is identical for Bamboo Studio and the entire family of Orca Slicer-derived software, such as the Anycubic, Elegoo, HueForge, and so on. So, first, let's import our UForge file. We'll also import the 3D model we want to have to emerge from the picture. Alright, now let's modify the mesh that will emerge from the UForge frame by moving it, scaling it, rotating it into its final position. We can temporarily assign a different color so that the contrast with the background stands out clearly. For example, I'm going to place my turbine in the side view. I can scale it to the right size and center it. Here you can have fun and experiment with the final effect. When we are satisfied, we use the cut tool to keep only the part of the 3D model we'll be using. Leave a little extra material at the bottom though, so that the slicer can properly join it to the base below. Here's a little tip. We don't have to limit ourselves to just one model. If we want to add more than one, we can definitely do that. Alright, last step. All we have to do is select both STLs by clicking on the first one and holding down Ctrl to select the second one as well. Now right-click and select Assemble. If you now go to the Object 3 section, you see that the two models have been grouped under Assembly. When we are satisfied, we can set the 3D model's color to match the background and click Slice. Please make sure you have the profile dedicated to HueForge selected. I've included a video on this in case you're unsure which parameters to set. I've also included a link to the previous video where I discuss 3 ways to slice a 3D HueForge. In this guide I'll show you the simplest method, which involves only changing colors between layers, but I recommend checking out the other tutorial if you would like to try a different approach. So now all we have to do is add the color changes by following the instructions in the document generated by HueForge, and then choose which filament we want to use for the 3D model. First, I'll add the color changes from the text, so I'll start with black, and on layer 7 I'll switch to light blue. On layer 12 I'll switch to white, and you can see that on layer 17 our HueForge model is complete. Now we need to add the filament change for our 3D model. I'll place it a few layers above the end of the HueForge background just to be safe, for example on layer 19. Now that I've added all the color changes, I click on Slice again to check that I've included everything and to actually save them in the G-code. With this slicing method, the 3D model can be a single color. For example, I'll use silver. Alright, our model is ready. All that's left to do is send it to print. If you are enjoying this video, remember that you can give the channel a huge boost with a small gesture like leaving a like below or a comment. Also, if you would like to donate to the channel, the super thanks button is available below. Thanks to everyone who supports me. And here we are with our finished HueForge in all its glory. I think these projects are fantastic. They really take HueForge creation to the next level and creating an amazing effect. Here are some other models I've printed using this style, and it definitely makes a big impact. So I'm curious, let me know in the comments below if you'll be creating your own 3D HueForge project too, and in the meantime, if you liked the video, give it a like and check this out.